Good morning and a happy new year to you. This would be the first video for the year, I think. Yeah, correct. And just as you saw in the last episode that we had, where I spoke with a teacher in line with our principles and processes, where we said that you essentially need to go out there and speak with your customers, your prospective customers for whom you're trying to solve the problem for. So you just don't imagine a problem up your head and say, oh, this is a problem we're going to go solve. What you do instead is that you go to the target market you're trying to work with, you have conversations with them, ask them about their biggest problems, you try to immerse yourself more and more into their process and their everyday life. And from there, you attentively pick out things. So you saw us do that in the last episode that we had. Now I'm entering a new topic, right? And I wanted it to be part of this journey, right? So I'm showing you everything, but other than trying to come later down the line to show a finished work, I want to show you my thought process, my thinking process, and these sort of things. So yeah, just as in the episode before the last episode, we said you ideally want to speak with at least 30 to 50 people within your potential market, and have them know that okay, this is what you're trying to solve and what are the problems they are facing and those types of things. So as a result of me doing this exercise, of which I'm still even in the process of doing this exercise more and more, these are the things I've noticed. So I noticed that teachers have a lot of problems with organizing lesson notes. So usually, apparently, I didn't know this till I started speaking with teachers. They have a standard scheme. They have different classes have certain expectations of the knowledge that is meant to be imparted. They have certain expectations of standards that are meant to be imparted and expected, right? And apparently, there's also an educational quality regulation board of some sort, especially in Lagos State, where each school is actually expected to adhere to some certain scheme guidance and some certain levels as well. So I guess this is how they ensure coherency and also ensure just general adherence to a certain level of standard of education across the entire country and across the entire state. So that was interesting to find out. So apparently, teachers are often required to, have and work on these lesson notes according to different topics being done. And those lesson notes also need to be reviewed by sometimes a principal or sometimes people situated for that. And apparently, once in a while, they are I will call them regulators, right? Regulators from the Ministry of Education or Department of Education for the state that go around sometimes and just reviews what is being taught, reviews things, and just try to give an approval to ensure that everything is being up to standard. So you call them a monitoring team of some sort. So apparently they have that. So it's something that teachers have to do. There's also the giving of assignments where you want to ensure that your students understood what was being taught and those types of things. So there's always that giving of assignments, thinking about the assignment questions to give, being able to mark those assignments, being able to keep records of those since they add up to the assessments that assessment records or assessment scores that are being given to the students at the end of the term. So, most times when we think about teachers, we think that they just, come to classroom and that's all. We only see the classroom aspect of what they do, but apparently there's a whole lot of full-time job that is assigned to what they do in the classroom actually. And yeah, so I saw that was a problem, right? And then also managing parents, humans. I know the day teaching is a human interaction job, right? You are working with humans. You're managing humans' expectations. You're managing humans' emotions. Every parent feels very emotionally about their children. How you manage interaction with parents, how you carry along parents along the educational growth of that child, and so on and so forth. So essentially, got all these problems. As of November, December last year, I didn't know any of this, right? I got to know this because I spent time speaking with teachers and just seeing that. And I got to see there were more problems where, for example, they store assessment records on a giant registry sheet that is physical. And there are times where that sheet gets misplaced or something happens or it gets dirty, it gets stained, and all of a sudden they have to copy it manually into a new sheet. Sometimes when it gets misplaced, they have no way of getting back the scores again. They now have to sometimes start to form or go about to say, I think this person got 20, I think this person got 15, without any form of certainty and the rest, right? And then there's also the problem about managing students engagements and their motivations as well. So all these problems, you can start to see that, oh wow, there's a lot of things that give teachers headache generally, right? And if you could just help them reduce more this pain, they'll be very happy for that. That's our thesis, right? Now, generally, when you speak with customers, when you speak with potential customers, you see that they mention like a whole lot of things. They have a whole lot of problems. They have a whole lot of things. Now, what you are trying to do as an entrepreneur is that you know that you cannot solve all the problem at once, generally. And sometimes it's not all the problems that are worth solving, despite them being a problem. So what you want to do is that you want to identify what are the most painful parts of these problems. So, okay, you said you have all this list of 37 problems, but what 3, what 4, what 5, what 7 are the most painful that, this is incredibly painful for you? Like sometimes when you think about it, your heart just beats. What are these problems? And I saw that for teachers, it is handling lesson notes and assignments, it is keeping students engaged, it is also handling parents. It's sometimes I hear some stories of how some parents can be really difficult, it can be problematic sometimes, and those types of things. Sometimes it's also about keeping the students engaged. They are trying to get through to a child. You really want the child to learn this topic, but for some reasons the child is not assimilating. How do you keep that children engaged? Children have different learning patterns. How do you factor in those learning patterns? At the end of the day, the joy of the teacher is that the students or the children they teach are high performers at the end of the day. So how do you create an environment for them that gives them that? And of course, you have the handling of lesson notes we talked about earlier. The government takes that very seriously. They want to see that everything is going on very well. There's some parents that also take it very seriously. They want to know, okay, your teacher is not giving you assignments. Why? Those kind of things. And assignments are a way of helping you to evaluate your students' performance and those types of things. All right. Now, with that being said, we're now moving on to the next steps. So now we've identified, we don't know if we are wrong or right. Remember, this is an experimentation, so we don't know if we are wrong or right. We identified what we think, based on conversations, are the most painful problems. Right now, the true test of the value that you're proposing to offer, for me, is figuring out, are they willing to prepare for it? So now that just brings us back to brings us forward to the next stage, which is what's about to enter now, where we are going to essentially set up some things. At this point in time, we are not yet diving deep into going to solve the problems, right? What we are going to do is we're going to present ourselves, like I said, we are consultants of some sort or service providers of some sort. We're going to get a landing page set up, and we're going to go to schools and do some pitches and say, hey, this list of problems we are working on solving need, but it will require a prepayment of any small amounts. I can just say maybe prepayment of 10K, 20K. And the reason why I'm saying any small amounts is because there are a couple of factors also here. You want to isolate some factors here. So some factors here are like trust, being African, being where we are. So I don't want it to be something that is too outrageous, unquote, in terms of a figure where the school starts to think that, oh, maybe someone is trying to defraud them or that kind of thing, right? So you want it to be something that is reasonable, unquote, but it cannot be free, right? So you're essentially saying, okay, this is who I am. I'm an engineer. This is what I'm doing. We are working on building something that solves this particular set of problems. And we're trying to sell it to you. So this time you're trying to actually sell a solution to the prospective customer. And you're saying that prepare. So for me, I'm going to be experimenting with different figures. I could start with 10K, I could start with 50K. The money is not really my concern. What's my concern is the principle behind this, which is that if somebody has come to be comfortable with you, right? So a stranger becomes comfortable with you, and the thing they are trying to solve is actually a big problem to them, they would be willing, and they have this trust that you actually have the capacity to solve it. They will be willing to actually prepare you to solve it, right? And this is a very important test, because you don't want to go about solving problems that at the end of the day, there is nobody to buy what you are selling, right? That's like one of the most horrible things. You don't want to kind of spend 3-4 months developing an MVP, developing a product, and then there's nobody. So this is my own way of implementing that. So I say set up a landing page. When the landing page is up, I'll be sharing that with you guys too as well. And then I do some pitches with some school owners and teachers, total strangers, people that I don't necessarily know, and then see if I can get them to pay 10k, 20k, 50k, and the rest. Now, one of the side benefits of doing this as well is that, remember we said we are starting this journey with only 500k, right? One of the side benefits of doing this is that if you actually resonate a lot with your market and your audience, you could get quite enough people to like prepare for what you're trying to build. That at the end of the day, their preparedness becomes what even finances the building process. We'll see how it goes, and this should be very, very exciting. So thank you very much, and as always, please subscribe, share with other entrepreneurs that you know, anyone going through a difficult situation, trying to like get traction on their products. This is going to be one of the most important things that they get to like actually see, because this is me relaying some of my own lived experience and lived sufferings in that regard. As always, stay blessed and bye-bye.